live from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Good evening and welcome to the National News broadcast, bringing to you live from the National News Studios here at Rupavahini. We are ready to bring you the top stories here at home and around the world. I'm Charita Vinupurarachi.
A very good evening. I'm Dulanjali Ananda and these are the headlines for tonight.
A special discussion regarding fuel price management, ensuring energy security. According to Fitch ratings, no risk of Sri Lanka coming down in debt ratings amidst global energy crisis. Providing fuel on the last digit of the vehicle number plate successful. Congestion minimized. A systematic methodology to provide fuel to farmers without delay. Special representative for Southern and Central Asia in the USA meets the President. Iran attacks main oil and gas refineries of several countries. Global oil market in a major crisis. Former Chief Executive Officer of the Sri Lankan Airlines in remand custody until the 2nd of April. On to those and other stories in detail now, and starting off with the top local story. In light of the Middle Eastern war situation, a discussion was held this morning at the Presidential Secretariat to examine the emerging economic challenges and the future measures to be taken to face them.
The meeting was held under the patronage of President Andra Kumara Dissanayaka. In the face of the Middle Eastern war situation, the energy crisis facing all countries in the world due to the collapse of energy supply networks and the trends that may arise in the world fuel market over the coming months were discussed extensively. Attention was focused on maintaining a continuous energy supply in a manner that can sustainably carry forward the economic achievements gained at 2025 and the steps that can be taken for price management to minimize economic contraction. The President also instructed to look into the possibility of implementing subsidy schemes for this purpose. Minister Vijay Herath and several others were present at the occasion.
And meanwhile, according to the Fitch ratings, no risk of Sri Lanka coming down in debt ratings amidst global energy crisis compared to the economic crisis of 2022. Financial stability of this country is at an appreciable level, according to the institution. Senior Director of the institution, Jeremy Zook, affirmed its participation in the Asia-Pacific Independent Updating Summit of Fitch Ratings 2026 held yesterday. He pointed out that Sri Lanka possesses capability to confront the energy shocking strongly better than the level of 2022 due to the macroeconomic adjustments and stability implemented by the government. According to him, the economic resilience of the country has confirmed by the fact of Sri Lanka recording an excess in the current account of last year instead of the huge balance of payment deficit recorded specifically in 2022. In the face of the rising fuel prices, a certain pressure on that may be possible and necessary safety steps have been already built for the debt ratings by maintaining financial discipline and the hike in foreign reserves. Despite Cyclone Ditwa and floods in November last year, Fitch ratings emphasize that the country will be able to reduce the net debt situation of the government up to 96% by 2027.
Issuing of the fuel quota on the last digit of the vehicle number plate under the QR code system commenced from today. During the day today alone, 503,236 QR codes have been reported, registered, and the facility has been provided to a number of 5.6 million persons as of now. If the last digit of the vehicle number plate happens to be 0 or an even number, fuel can be obtained on an even number day, while in case the last digit is to be an odd number, fuel can be obtained on an odd number day, according to the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation. Accordingly, being an odd day today, digits 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 containing vehicles were issued fuel. Advisor to the Ministry of Digital Economy, Sumitra Ratnayaka, says the override facility has been introduced as a solution to problems concerned with obtaining QR codes. Advisor to the Ministry of Digital Economy, Sudhir Ratnayake, explained that a process called override or cancelling and reissuing QR codes had been introduced. He stated that if a person is actually registered owner and possesses verifiable data such as the chassis number, they can resolve issues where they no longer have access to the mobile phone used for the initial registration or the ability to receive an OTP. He noted that since the previous night, such individuals could enter the details of their registered vehicles using their current mobile phone. He further explained that a message would appear indicating that the system would override the registration to the user's name, accompanied by a prompt to confirm ownership. The user must then acknowledge that they are obtaining the QR code for their own vehicle. He mentioned that the system would display the mobile number currently linked to the vehicle, and once confirmed, the user would be able to retrieve the previously inaccessible QR code. Finally, he clarified that the official system is located at www.failpass.gov.lk and warned the public against using 5 or 6 fake websites that had been discovered collecting personal data and chassis numbers, urging citizens not to enter their information on those fraudulent sites. Managing Director of Ceylon Petroleum Storage Terminals Limited of the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation, Dr. Mayur Nethikumar, says that all fuel orders have been confirmed up to the month of April. Managing Director of Ceylon Petroleum Storage Terminals Limited of Ceylon Petroleum Corporation, Dr. Mayur Nethikumar, said that an order for 5 additional oil tankers for the month of April had been confirmed the previous day. He mentioned that as a result, there were not now enough ships scheduled to last until the end of April. He pointed out that while they had previously only confirmed fuel availability until the final week of April, they had now secured shipments through to the end of 4th month. Consequently, he assured that there would be no further issues regarding fuel supply. According to our correspondent, the congestion around filling stations in Vavuniya district was missing today. According to employees of the filling stations, since the dates of the issuance of fuel is being changed as per the digits of vehicle number plates. Fuel has been successfully issued to the northern, north central, central and eastern provinces by the wholesale fuel storage complex located in Kurunegala. Meanwhile, our Kurunegala correspondent stated that the fuel chaos seen around filling stations close to Kurunegala town were missing. A person who hoarded and sold stocks of diesel and petrol at a high rate has been taken into custody. The raid has been conducted at Bohiti area, Munaragala, on an information received by the intelligence officials of the Munaragala police headquarters. Police took into their custody 630 litres of diesel. Legal action has been taken against a private bus company in Negombo which illegally hoarded more than 3,500 litres of diesel by the Negombo police. One suspect has been taken into custody while the vehicle fixed with a diesel tank has also been taken into custody. Sri Lanka Export Development Board has commenced a special program in providing fuel on a priority basis for exporters. According to the chairman of the board, Mangala Vijayasinghe, the prime objective of this initiative is to safeguard the export sector, which is the main area of the economy of this country. More than 4,500 exporters engaged in areas such as apparel, tea, spices and other main areas will receive this priority. The Ministry of Industries and Entrepreneurship Development has taken steps to store necessary data from the exporters. In case they have not forwarded information so far, the chairman requests the exporters to take steps to provide information immediately. Sri Lanka Bureau of Foreign Employment says that a number of steps have been taken by now amidst the war situation in the Middle East region for the safety of Sri Lankans employed there and job security of them. Chairman of the Bureau, Koshla Wickramasinghe, says that although nearly 2 weeks have been lapsed since the commencement of the war environment in the Middle East, no reports have been received so far regarding severe casualties or deaths of any Sri Lankan. He requests in this phase of the war situation, if any employee has been displaced from his place of employment, the information can be forwarded to the hotline number 1989 or 071 980 2822 WhatsApp number.
And meanwhile, Deputy Minister Namal Karunaratne said in Parliament today that a systematic methodology has been introduced for the farmers to purchase fuel without a delay. Minister Namal Karunaratne said that they had summoned all fertilizer companies to the ministry the previous day and the farmer leaders from across Sri Lanka had attended the meeting. He mentioned that a decision was reached by the ministry representing the government to purchase the fertilizer stocks held by those companies. He further explained that they were launching a process to distribute the fertilizer directly to the farmers through agrarian service centres and farmer organisations. He emphasised that this system would eliminate dealers and middlemen as the government would procure fertilizer directly from from the companies and facilitate distribution under the state supervision. He asserted that they would not allow any mafias to operate within this framework. Regarding the Deputy Minister, the field and the Deputy Minister reassured that no issues would be allowed to rise and the government had already made a decision on the matter.
A meeting was held today between President Anurakumara Dissanayake and Sergio Gore, the US Ambassador to India and Special Representative for South and Central Asian Affairs, who is currently visiting the country. The meeting took place at the President's office. During this meeting, discussions focused on further strengthening bilateral relations between the United States and Sri Lanka. Furthermore, the President briefed the delegation on Sri Lanka's stance regarding the ongoing force situation in the Middle East and the challenges Sri Lanka has been compelled to face due to that conflict. Secretary to the President, Dr. Nandika Sanath-Kumar Naik, and several others were present at the occasion. A special telephone conversation was held yesterday between President Anurakumara Dissanayake and the Emir of Qatar regarding regional security and energy security. Special attention was focused on the welfare of Sri Lankans living in that country. During the meeting, the President inquired about the current situation in the state of Qatar. Discussions were held regarding the measures being taken for the welfare of the 105,000 Sri Lankans living in Qatar. Explaining the prevailing situation, the Emir of Qatar assured the President that the safety and welfare of all foreigners living in the country, including Sri Lankans, would be ensured. The President pointed out that Sri Lanka's cooperation would be extended to Qatar amidst current regional developments. The President further emphasized the need to strengthen international relations to minimize the economic impact on developing countries like Sri Lanka caused by rising energy costs.
The global oil market has fallen into a severe crisis due to a series of attacks targeting energy centers amidst the emerging war situation in the Middle East region. It is reported that during today, the 20th day of the war, massive damage has been caused by strikes launched by the Iranians on several major oil and gas refinery centers in Qatar, Kuwait and the United Arab Emirates.
Oh my God! This series of massive attacks was launched targeting Gulf regional countries as a response to the attacks carried out by Israel on Iran's South Pass gas field. The government of Qatar confirmed that the Ras Laffan industrial city, the country's main gas hub, has suffered severe damage from an Iranian missile strike. Meanwhile, Kuwait National Petroleum Company states that a large fire has broken out at Min Al Ahmadi refinery and Minna Abdullah refinery located south of Kuwait City due to drone attacks. Reports indicate that security forces including firefighters are exerting great effort to extinguish the fire. The Habshan Gas Facility Center and the Bab oil field in the United Arab Emirates were also attacked, but security forces managed to destroy them mid-air. Additionally, the Ministry of Defense of Saudi Arabia states that the damage occurred at the Samreef refinery in the port of Yanbu is due to a drone crash. With a series of attacks targeting energy centers in the Middle East region, crude oil and gas prices in the world market are rising rapidly. The price of a barrel of Brent crude oil exceeded $115 by this morning. Market reports indicate that gas prices in the world market have also risen by about 30%. Economic analyst Vadana Hari stated that if the Strait of Hormuz remains closed, the price of Middle Eastern crude oil could rise to $200 per barrel. A special meeting of foreign ministers from 12 different Gulf regional countries was held today in Riyadh, the capital of Saudi Arabia. Following this meeting, the foreign ministers called on Iran to immediately stop the series of attacks it is launching targeting Gulf regional countries. The joint statement further informed to refrain from any action that obstructs international shipping in the Strait of Hormuz and the Bab el-Mandeb sea routes. Furthermore, the relevant ministers emphasize here that they condemn the attacks on Lebanon and stand for the security and stability of that country. A senior American administration official told the Washington Post that the Pentagon has requested the White House to approve more than $200 billion to fund the Iranian war. This amount exceeds the cost of operations carried out by the Trump administration to date. The newspaper reports that it is expected to urgently increase the production of critical weaponry. It is mentioned that the Pentagon has submitted several funding requests over the past 2 weeks, and the latest request will be led to a strong political battle within the Congress. The U.S. Department of Defense and the White House have declined request made by the newspaper for comment regarding this. Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi has arrived in America for a 3-day official visit. This is for the purpose of holding high-level discussions, including the war measures implemented by America and Israel against Iran. Following the closure of the Strait of Hormuz by Iran, President Trump requested several countries, including Japan, to deploy vessels to safely transport oil tankers through it. After that request, Sanae Takaichi is the first major pro-American leader in Asia to hold face-to-face discussions with him. Before arriving in America, she stated that she would work to establish peace and stability in the Middle East and expects to discuss deeply with the American president. Sanae Takaichi held her first meeting with American President Donald Trump in Tokyo last October, a few days after becoming the Japan's first female prime minister. Foreign media reports state that the official Japanese aircraft carrying the prime minister reached an American Air Force base Washington last night. Takaichi, a hardliner, is also a follower of former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, who developed a close friendship with Trump. In the conflict between America and Iran lasting 20 days, the death toll in Iran has risen to 1,444. It is reported that 18,550 people have been injured. In the Iranian attacks launched against Israel so far, 17 people have died in Israel and 3,727 have been injured. Due to the conflict, 6 people also died in Kuwait. Foreign media report states that 8 people in the United Arab Emirates and 3 people in Oman have also died. Among the persons who died due to the Middle East conflicts, the highest number of deaths after Iran is reported from Lebanon. 912 people have died in that country. It is reported that over 2,220 people have been injured. Additionally, Al Jazeera media reports indicate that 13 American military soldiers have died in the face of airstrikes launched by Iran and more than 200 people have been injured.
On our local stories this evening, former Navy Commander Admiral Professor Jayant Columbia says that closure of the Strait of Hormuz will be explosive to the entire global economy in the future. He points out that most of the supply of fuel, gas as well as fertilizer is being conducted across the strait.
Strait of Hormuz is a key choke point, key entry points from the Middle Eastern countries in which the largest quantities of oil and gas are produced, and then they are transported across to the Indian Ocean before they can go to the Far East, India, China, Japan, South Korea and Sri Lanka, and to the European Union countries. So therefore, this is a critical choke point, critical energy supply route. Now, because of the Israel and USA attack on Iran has been threatening to close down the Strait of Hormuz for a long time, but they never did it. No country can unilaterally close a transit passage or a strait which is used for international transit. Now, Strait of Hormuz is something like an international strait, and they have not actually closed the entire strait. Now, we know there are 2 ships which came to India and 1 ship which came to Pakistan. So now the problem is, if the Strait of Hormuz is closed for a prolonged period, the world economy will suffer immensely. When the world economy is suffering, small economies like Sri Lanka will suffer very badly. So therefore, it is critically important the Strait of Hormuz be reopened as quickly as possible for the sake of the whole world economy and also Sri Lankan economy as well. Now we get our oil, we get our gas, we get our fertilizer from the Strait of Hormuz. Now these 3 are essential things for our day-to-day life and essential for our economy. Sri Lankan economy is not very strong. Of course, last year we posted a 5% GDP growth, but by 2028 we have to start repaying our loans. Therefore, we need to build up our foreign reserve. How can we do that when the price of oil today it is around $100 per barrel? Before the events took place against Iran, it was around $72 per barrel. And all this increase of oil we have to bear, and it will finally come to the people of this country. So we really have to be very mindful of the impact. Now, because of the situation in the Strait of Hormuz, not only the Persian Gulf traffic is impacted, but even the traffic shipping through the Red Sea, Bab el-Mandeb, also affected. Now, that would have a direct impact on our exports, because we will not be able to send our exports on time to various destinations in Europe and in America and many other destinations in that region. So overall, we are going to suffer very badly.
Live from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Welcome back with more local stories. President Andhra Kumar Dissanayake has attended the iftar celebration held in connection with the conclusion of the daily Ramadan feast of the Islamic devotees at the President's office yesterday. The event was held giving prominence to religious observances. Islamic religious representatives, Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya, MPs, administrators and diplomats have also attended the event. The welcome address was delivered by Deputy Speaker Dr. Rizvi Saleh. The President has appreciated and participated in a friendly conversation with the invitees at this occasion. The Colombo Magistrates Court today rejected the bail application of Kapila Chandrasena, the former CEO of the Sri Lankan Airlines, who is currently in remand custody. He is accused of accepting a bribe of $2 million during the purchase of an Airbus for the Sri Lankan Airlines. The Bribery Commission informed the Colombo Magistrates Court today that revelations have surfaced indicating these funds were provided to former President Mahinda Rajapaksa and former Aviation Minister Priyanka Rajaratne. Representing the Bribery Commission, an official told the court that investigations revealed a $2 million bribe was received in 2013 during the purchase of aircraft from the French Airbus company. The funds were reportedly deposited into a Standard Chartered bank account in Singapore belonging to a company registered in Brunei under the name of the suspect's wife, Priyanka Neomali Vijayanayake. It was further revealed that these funds were subsequently transferred from her account to the suspect's Commonwealth Bank account in Australia on 4 separate occasions. The Bribery Commission official informed the court that the final paragraph of an affidavit sent by the suspect's counsel to the investigating officer's mobile phone mentioned Shamindra Rajapaksa, Priyanka Rajaratne and others. Later, while providing a statement to the Director General of the Bribery Commission, the suspect stated in open court that former President Mahinda Rajapaksa had requested the money after the suspect left Sri Lankan Airlines. He claimed that he provided a total of 60 million rupees to Mahinda Rajapaksa in 3 installments of 20 million rupees each, delivered to his residence in Beliatta and Carlton. Additionally, he stated that 20 million rupees were given to Priyanka Rajaratne, who was the aviation minister at the time in Kollupitia. The suspect has provided 41 documents related to these payments to investigators. The Bribery Commission official also requested the court to issue warrants for the arrest of the suspect's wife, Priyanka Neomali Vijayanayake and Shamindra Rajapaksa, who are named as suspects in the case. Representing the suspect, President's counsel Riyanzi Alsakuraratne argued that the suspect had been released on bail since 2020 and the travel ban imposed on him have been completely lifted by the Bribery Commission. He pointed out that the suspect had not interfered with the investigation or witnesses had cooperated fully, requesting the court to release him on bail. After considering the submissions from both parties, the Colombo Chief Magistrate rejected the bail application and ordered the suspect to be further remanded until the 2nd of April. The Court of Appeal today ordered the relevant parties to inform the court by the 27th whether a settlement can be reached regarding the case where Deputy Secretary General of Parliament Chaminda Kularatne was suspended following a charge sheet presented by a Parliamentary Advisory Committee allegedly in violation of the law. Representing the Attorney General, Deputy Solicitor General Chaya Sri Namuni informed the court that the second respondent had submitted a proposal to settle the petition filed by the petitioner against his suspension. In response, the President's counsel, appearing for the petitioner, requested a date to provide further instructions from his client. Accordingly, the court ordered the petition to be called again on the 27th of this month. The Supreme Court has determined today that the basic fundamental rights of the convener of the Inter-University Student Federation, Vasantha Mudalige, had been violated through his detention following a protest carried out by them on the 18th of August 2022 under the Prevention of Terrorism Act. The court verdict was delivered at the convening of sessions to examine a petition filed by the complainant through his attorney-at-law before Supreme Court Judge Sobhita Rajakaruna. The panel of judges declaring their decision said that the respondents had failed to present facts to justify the detention of Vasantha Mudalige under the PTA. And meanwhile, Minister Vijitha Herath says that Sri Lankan government is functioning while maintaining the impartiality of the Sri Lankan state. He has made these remarks participating in a debate in Parliament today. Vijay Herath said that the challenging task of rebuilding the nation, and within a short period under the Rebuilding Sri Lanka program, we are taking necessary steps to stabilize the country. He mentioned that it was such a moment that an unexpected war arose due to global political conditions. He clarified that the war was not a creation of the current Sri Lankan government, but a military situation arising from geopolitics, the consequences of which are now felt globally. He further noted that if previous rulers had established a strong foundation to face such situations, remedies would have been available, but such a foundation was lacking. He pointed out that the absence of shortage facilities for required fuel and mentioned that drinkable oil tanks had not been renovated to a state where they could supply fuel not only to Sri Lanka but also to regional countries. Consequently, he explained that immediately upon coming to power, they signed a memorandum of understanding with India involving the UAE and Sri Lanka with a visionary outlook to obtain oil through a pipeline and renovate the drinkable oil tanks for storage. Regarding the issue of Iranian ships, he accused another MP of maintaining and making completely false statements in Parliament if he was well informed on matters he did not understand. He refused claims that a ship was attacked because permission to enter was denied, stating that permission was only requested on the 26th to arrive on March 9, while the attack had already occurred on the 4th. He emphasized that their clear stance that there must be stops to all parties and asserted that they are maintaining their neutrality while firmly representing and presenting their views internationally without ever speaking against the country. He added that while maintaining necessary relations with Iran, they are also engaging in the United States. He clarified that the visit of representative for South and Central Asia was not secret, as he had maintained and met the president today to discuss economic, trade and political relations. Finally, he mentioned that they had discussed with China regarding the fuel crisis and noted that both China and Russia are currently providing some level of intervention.
අපි ඒක හරියට කරලා තියෙනවා. අපි කොහෙදවත් ඒවා වරද්දගෙන නැහැ. මේ තෙල් අර්බුදයේ අපිට අවශ්‍ය කරන තෙල් ටික ගන්න අපි චීනයත් එක්ක සාකච්ඡා කරා. චීනයේ යම් මැදිහත් වීමක් කරමින් තියෙනවා. අද රුසියාවේ මැදිහත් වීම කරමින් තියෙනවා.
Prime Minister Dr. Harni Amarasuri questioned as to why there is an ongoing struggle to seize power. She asked whether they possess a special plan to develop the country that surpasses the current government's efforts, or if they have distinct knowledge and capabilities to rescue the nation from its present state. She concluded by stating that she, along with the people of the country, has a clear understanding of why there are attempts to regain power through various maneuvers.
And meanwhile, the Indian High Commission and the consulates have organized various events during the holy month of Ramadan.
An iftar reception was hosted by High Commissioner of India Santosh Jha at the ITC Ratnadeepa recently. Chief guest at the event was Deputy Speaker Dr. Rizvi Sali. It was also attended by members of the judiciary, representatives of foreign missions in Sri Lanka, members of parliament and senior government officials. During the course of the month, festive kits, essential supplies and provisions were distributed among needy families in different parts of the country. The distribution events were aimed at spreading festive cheer during the month of Ramadan, further reinforcing the strong Indo-Sri Lanka people-to-people bonds.
The Colombo Stock Exchange ended today's trading negatively, and the oil share price index closed at 20,264.01 after falling by 376.62 points, which represents a 1.28% change. The S&P SL20 index closed at 5,651.41, down by 114.16 points and 1.98%. Total market capitalization at the close of trading stood at 7.222 billion and trillion rupees. Rather, market turnover for the day amounted to 3.955 billion rupees, with 176.50 billion shares traded. Moving to the weather update, showers and thunder showers were expected across several parts of the country after 2 p.m. today, and particularly in the central, Sabaragamuwa and Uva provinces, as well as Gol, Mathura, Mana, Anuradhapura and Vavuniya districts. Misty conditions are also likely in the early morning hours in parts of the central, Sabaragamuwa and Uva provinces and in Gol, Mathura and Kalutara districts. Authorities urge the public to take necessary precautions against strong winds and lightning that may occur during these thunder showers. Welcome back with your sports update, and it's cricket and the big match roundup. The Battle of Saints big match between St. Peter's College, Bambalapitiya and St. Joseph's College, Colombo 10 commenced today at the SSC cricket grounds in Colombo. Meanwhile, the other big match between Richmond and Mahinda Colleges in Galle also commenced at the Galle International Cricket Stadium today.
The big match between St. Peter's College, Bambalapitiya and St. Joseph's College, Colombo 10 is being held for the 92nd time this year. St. Peter's College team is led by Inosh Peterson, while the Josephian team is captained by Rashma Amarasinghe. After winning the toss, St. Peter's College invited St. Joseph's team to bat first. Accordingly, at the end of the day's play today, there were 281 runs for the loss of 5 wickets. Sanjay Vekunagoda scored 88 runs, while Yenula Dadnarayana contributed with a fine 84 runs. In bowling, Shavindra Silva claimed 4 wickets for St. Peter's College. Battle of Lovers, the big match between Richmond and Mahinda Colleges in Galle, commenced for the 121st time this year. Mahinda team, winning the toss, invited Richmond College to bat first. There were 203 runs for the loss of 4 wickets. At the end of the day's play, in their first innings, Ravindu scored 85 runs. Amirsha Rasanjana scored 81 runs.
And with those stories, we'll be wrapping up tonight news. Just tomorrow at the very same time, from signing off from the prestigious news broadcast of Sri Lanka.